Hey Cancer, this is Wishko the Ferret. Thanks for hopping into the Ferret Den where we're keeping things warm and we're keeping things cozy. Today we have a reading for you for April 10th to the 16th for 2023. So, if you're a Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising, or you just happen to be coming across this message and you are in need of something, that is the intention for this message, is to go out to those collective energies. So, as always, drop into your heart space. Let the dust spiritually, physically, and emotionally settle around within you so you can determine which messages are for you and which messages are for others. And while you're doing that, I'm going to say my prayer. Thank you, Archangel Michael, for coming in and surrounding me with a protection bubble of light. Thank you for sending heavenly bodies down to help connect me with the energies of Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, or anyone who happens to need a message and feels intuitively called to listen to this message. Thank you, angel team. Thank you, spirit guides, for connecting me with the highest love, the highest light. Thank you for connecting me with the highest truth and the highest outcome for our cancers. Ooh, okay, let's see what you got. Oh, okay. We have a card here that I don't think I have ever pulled for myself before. We have Spark of Divine. I reignite the divine spark within me and recognize I am part of all creation. Let's see what I get from this. Okay, so they're showing me an electric current. They're showing me an electric current from, it's like the hookup between you and the divine. And this could be your spark of inspiration. Like, the divine works in many different ways. So like, it could be your spark of passion or your spark of creation that you once had, but then it like had snapped over time. And then now recently it's showing that the connection is reconnecting. Something is reconnecting here so that you are actually, and very much like what it's saying, I reignite the divine spark within me and recognize I'm a part of all creation. So this does feel like a creativity. This could be, so I just heard that you're blasting onto the scene, or you're blasting onto something where you're going to make your mark. Specifically, they say blasting, and they're saying making your mark. So you're blasting onto the scene, perhaps with some type of inspiration that has flooded your being, that you're like, oh my goodness, like I haven't had a feeling like this since many years ago, or many months ago, or when I was younger, when I was a kid. There's something here about once upon a time you might have had this thrill before, you might have had this dream before, and then all of a sudden, for whatever reason, something's starting to come back, and something is being reignited, but something is reconnecting. It's almost like you're connecting with that past part of you, or that past dream, or you're finding new inspiration for an old project that you've once had. And also you have Archangel Raphael here. I invite Archangel Raphael to bring healing and knowledge into my life. There's healing that's coming through this reconnectivity or this reconnection. So either if it's connecting to an old dream or an old project, Archangel Raphael is coming with this daily dose of healing for you. So this angel comes through whenever there is some serious heart healing to be had. Whenever something has, this does feel like Cancer energy of like a deep hurt or a sensitivity, or something that, Cancers, because, like they work with the moon and everything, it very much rules emotions, the emotional bodies. And it feels like Archangel Raphael is coming to do some major work on that with you. Through this connection, like your act of creating or your act of bringing this into fruition is a very healing for you, or can potentially be very healing for you. So let's see what kind of spirit animals are guiding you at this time. And I feel like, okay, some of you are definitely starting something new because you have Beaver Spirit. Lay a solid foundation. So this is giving me heavy 3 of Wands energy, where perhaps like, and I feel like this is like recent. I feel like this is like maybe a spark or an idea. Maybe you have been planning on something like this for a while, but it does feel like, I don't know. I want to say it's like a 3 of Wands, 4 of Wands type of energy, where you are building something that's going to last long term. And this is just an energy that you're really going to play up on. I feel like I literally see the image of a beaver, but for whatever reason they're constructing a house. I don't know why they're not building a dam because they're beavers, but in like the image that the divine is showing me is that you're like laying the logs in like a squarular format so that you can build a home around you. So perhaps something that could sustain a home, that could sustain a family late in the game for you. You also have Swan Spirit, time for a deep dive. So taking a deeper dive into the parts of yourself. Archangel Raphael will be with you every step of the way to aid in this healing, but the Swan Spirit takes the dive into our emotions, takes the dive into our shadow self of things that are unknown to us or things that maybe we've brushed under the rug. I think this is perhaps something I've just heard, something of which you do not care to look at. So perhaps you're aware of its existence. You're aware of something within, maybe that has been bugging you, but not something on the outside of you, but maybe a part of yourself that that has been bugging you, and you've just kind of swept it aside. You don't even care to look at it because you've been so focused on something else, or it's not something that you've really paid attention to. But now it's calling for your attention, and the Swan Spirit's coming in to help you kind of fish it out. I really feel like it's not too deep of a dive. I feel like you're just trying to like fish it up and out. You're going in and fishing out a very specific thing. You're not in here to play. You're not here in your shadow self to try to go on this immense transformative healing journey. I mean, you may, if that's what you would like to do, but I feel like what's necessary now is only like, and I feel like the inkling that you may have is to really only want to go in and grab like one thing and then get the heck out of there, because you got shit to do, and you can't really be spending so much time on like, your healing. And this will take time to heal. I feel like there is a combination of reflection and action that needs to be had in order to generate this type of healing with this energy that I'm getting, because sometimes people need to go into straight up hermit mode and then close yourself off for a little bit. I feel like yours is a combination of reflection and action instead of just reflection, because this is something you're aware of, something that maybe you've brushed aside, or something you have not paid attention to, and now you're fishing it up from the surface. You have Turkey Spirit, give with gratitude and grace. They're saying the image here is important. I don't know if you like turkeys, or perhaps you have some type of turkey or a chicken coop, or maybe you're on a farm. I'm not sure, but for whatever reason, they're telling me the image is important. You could be having turkey recently. I don't know. But no, they're making noises and they're being funny. So you're actually surrounded with abundance right now, and they just told me that the reason I'm laughing, they said gobble gobble. It's almost like you have this gobble gobble. So you're almost kind of like feasting on certain things. Sorry, turkey. And so like, I mean, usually when I think of turkey, I think of like Thanksgiving, or I think of, for some of you, that could be a timeline, but I really do feel like it's just you have an abundance that you are feasting from. So just make sure that you are recognizing that, this thing given to you, like take appreciation for it, because that's going to help you manifest a lot better when you are expressing gratitude for the things, like the resources that you're using, the time of others for some reason, like the time, like you have like other people who are giving you the time of day, or and again, this energy doesn't resonate with everyone, and that's okay. Take what resonates, but it feels like there are people like it's almost like cherishing the people around you, cherishing your love life or your relationships, your friendships, your family. There's something here about the time that you're spending, or the activities that you're doing with these people. It's almost like, make sure you're expressing gratitude for that, and realizing just how, just how lucky you are, I guess. I don't know. I don't want to this isn't like I don't want to sport like don't be ungrateful type of attitude. But this will not only make you feel good, I mean, when you are so thankful for the amount of love around you, but this also feels like when you express that gratitude, your frequency raises, and that helps attract better things to you. And then like the good things just don't stop pouring in. So that's just something to consider. Something to keep in mind is like expressing gratitude on the daily is something that could help you manifest more. It could help you lay a good foundation too, because they say, so like, I don't know why this is coming to me, but somebody who is pregnant but like a single parent, like they'll say like, I mean, even when you're a couple, it takes a village to raise a kid. And that's what a lot of people say to like but to anybody who is having children, like, oh, it takes a village. Like, it'll take the teachers, it'll take like the the other parents that host sleepovers, like, you know, with their kids, and like, you know, it's everybody who's ever involved, like the daycare workers. It's going to be everybody who's involved and partaking in the life of your child. It does take a village, or even like the babysitters, or like the people who, like, you know, grandparents or friends or whatever the case may be. And they're kind of giving me that image of like, these relationships can support you and help you on the way as you lay your foundation, or like part of your strong foundation is going to be in part due to your relationship with others and the friendships that you're cultivating now. Like, they will be a strong support system for you. So keep that in mind. You also have creating sacred space. So I'm going to read, there's a little textual blurb on the back of the card. I'm going to read, sacred space is simply a way to hold the energy of spirit in an honorable, loving, and gracious manner. This card is a sign that it's time for you to create a sacred space that's unique and personal to you, where you can commune with spirit. This is the mediumship training deck. You don't have to be a medium to practice this. I find that whether you're a medium or not, this just helps foster your connection with the higher self and with spirit as well. So these are just grounding techniques that you can use, or different things that you can implement that could help make this cycle or this week a lot easier for you. So continuing on. Creating sacred space for spirit is a practice honored by mediums and spiritual practitioners from many traditions. Calling in the light of spirit to enhance your meditation or sitting in its power can both be helpful in creating a safe space for spiritual and mediumship practice. Some people like to burn sage, light candles, play music, and meditate or pray before working with spirit, as a way of creating a loving, inviting environment for spiritual connection and communication. Why not create an altar and a special place in your home or office to make that space sacred? Using crystals, spiritual icons, flowers, or spiritual images can enhance the sacredness of the space. By working regularly in this space, it will become more infused with spiritual energy. The most important thing that's needed when creating your sacred space is a loving intention. This can be used wherever you are, anywhere in the world. Try it. Take a breath of loving awareness into your heart. In your own words, ask for a clear, healing connection between you and the spirit world. Always share gratitude to spirit for hearing and honoring your attention. So even if you don't have the resources to go out and try to make this sacred space, you don't have to buy fancy stuff for it. You can really just collect stuff from nature. Rocks in nature, things from outside, wood, even just like some sand or dirt, whatever you can find outside. Those can be like wonderful things to put on your altar too. And I see things of creating a sacred space is not just about stuff. Okay, I mean, like, certainly that can help and it can add to the ambiance, and I mean, it's mainly a tool for us though. Those are mainly tools. You don't need tools. You can really just cut off a section in your room and, you know, or have like just even I can make this couch my sacred space by literally just using this couch just to meditate. Like, I wouldn't be watching TV on this couch. I wouldn't be eating on this couch or sleeping on this couch. I could literally just come to this couch to meditate every day, and that could be my sacred space. Or even just a spot on my floor in the corner, or just a spot in nature. That could be my sacred space. So it's really just like a spot or a place that you just keep pouring spiritual energy into, or you keep practicing spiritual things in. And that can help balance out things. You need a place to go where you can rest and rejuvenate. You need a place to go where, for that, I'm just hearing like Spirit just said you need a place to go in order to foster that spark within you, because that spark can turn into a wildfire. That spark can turn into something more once you heap on the creations a little bit. So especially at the beginning, like when you're laying that groundwork, it's going to be important to keep that spark going, because you're going to need it to stay alight, basically. Because a lot of times we don't make it far in our dreams. A lot of people don't, simply because they let the spark die, or they let it flare out, or they don't nurture it or foster it. And that's not really through fault of their own. I mean, life happens. There's so many things that happen in life that could lead someone away from a divine spark. But that's something that you just need to watch out for, is like, if this is something you're in for the long haul, if you're laying this foundation, sticking with it and finding, make sure you're trying to set yourself up for success here. Having a sacred space is going to help nurture that connection. So let's see what your tarot has to say. Oh, the Lovers. Okay. Some of you could be relying on a lover if you have this already. If you're not and you're single, then this does feel like, I'm not sure if this is related to another person, only because it's either some like a support from another person, a support from a lover, or a lover coming in. But I feel like this is more indicative of like the Lovers is peering into the shadow self or the shadow side. So especially with Swan Spirit, like time for a deep dive, I really do feel like it could be somebody who is looking for love too, because you have the Page of Wands here. You could actually be looking to start a family, or you could have like if you haven't already, if you have a family and you're not really looking for that, you could totally disregard that. But it does feel like you want to start something new, because the Page of Wands is just an actively looking energy. For some of you, you could be looking for love. And I mean, I say the prospects are really good. The Queen of Pentacles talks about having the resources. If you're not looking for love, this is quite literally just like doing the work on yourself so that you can pursue these matters. Romance, I'm getting the sense that romance is a bit touchy for this group. And I do feel like some of you have established families already, so I have to be careful about how I interpret these cards, because there's a message here about love, like enforcing the supportive romantic connections either that you do have, or there is I feel like for a lot of you, it's a goal to find somebody, or that it's in your part of your passion project could be finding a lover to start a family with and lay this foundation with. For others of you, again, I feel like this is a big love message. So again, disregard if you feel like it's not for you. But I feel like for those of you who aren't looking for love, I want to honor that and say that, again, the Lovers is about exploring the shadow self and taking that deep dive into the subconscious. So it's just kind of magnifying what the Swan Spirit is saying, but you can still use the Page of Wands and the Queen of Pentacles. It's still saying you have a drive to do something. Page of Wands is explorative. The Page of Wands is ambitious and passionate and is he's not ready to draw up plans just yet, but he's kind of seeing where that spark can take him. Page of Wands is like a spark. And he's trying to learn about the world and he's trying to learn the lay of the land so that he can do something with it. And the Page of Wands is naturally curious, and he does use his wand, which is like, the wands is always a suit of will, creativity, passion. So he's using that to steer him. He's using that to guide him, and that's directing him into the direction that, could give him success or where he feels drawn to. He's literally just intuitively going with whatever passion comes up within. And the Queen of Wands is about having, it's like you're directing your will. Okay, fine. Spirit just says you're directing your will is what the Page of Wands is. Queen of Pentacles is about having the resources available. She's surrounded by her garden. She actually has a pretty, she's on stable ground. So I'm not speaking financially, but I feel like just in general, it feels like you have a bunch of stuff around you that you can use. You have a bunch of, you have a lot of help available. Maybe not in the form of people. It could be in the form of people. It could be in the form of situations, experiences. It could be just your location in general. It could be, if you're doing something online, if you're launching a business online, you could have a lot of materials and resources for that. I hear my ear ringing now as I say that. So for some of you, it is like an online business. So I'll probably stick to that metaphor depending on what comes out. The Five of Swords here. The Five of Swords is, let me take a pause here, Cancer, and check in with this energy and see what they mean by that. Okay, so actually the Five of Swords is present here. So Spirit is saying to stop trying to fight yourself to victory. You don't always have to swing your sword in order to get what you want. I feel like there's a more peaceful path that you can take. The world is not against you here, Cancer. And I know it may feel that way because it feels like there are all these limitations in place that's preventing you from engaging in this energy of creation. But it's actually not, it's not as limiting as you might think. And the thing about the Five of Swords is that maybe you're just constantly swinging your sword. It indicates some form of defensiveness. It indicates a form of wanting to fight others with words, or thinking that the rest of the world is kind of against you and you wanting to kind of fight back. It really just feels like you anticipate some type of struggle, but I feel like the impression that Spirit is getting sorry, words. Haha, I can word too. Spirit is saying that the impression that they're giving me is that you want to fight, but there's really not a need to, because it's like it's not present. I'm staring at, okay, so I have a bunch of quotes up on my door. They're from Game of Thrones. It's one of those posters. And quite literally, the thing that's catching my eye is words are wind. And I mean, I know it's carries a different meaning for the series or for the show. words are wind, meaning that like word often travels. Like when you speak it, the word travels with the wind, and other people will hear it. But I'm also hearing like let them talk too. So whatever you're doing, like people will catch wind of what you're doing and just let them talk. Don't draw your sword, because that's wasting precious energy, precious resources on what you could be directing your energy towards. So it literally reminds me of that Connor Price quote. Not really quote, it's like a lyric from one of his songs. It's from the song Receipts. But I bring this up all the time because this is my hype song. I'm telling you, he's like, I don't want to tell them everything I'm gonna do. I would rather show them everything that I achieved. I don't want to tell them how does that go? I don't want to tell them that I got it without proof. I would rather show them the receipts. And okay, yeah, that is my fake ass rapping. Sorry, y'all. But I feel like that's kind of like the energy that you have to embody, is like, okay, well, I'm not going to fight people. I'm not going to try to convince them of anything. I'm just going to create and see what comes of it. If you want to keep it hush, if you want to keep it to yourself, that's okay too. But I honestly feel like people aren't going to be as against you as you think, because you still need those friendships. You still need those relationships around you for the support, as I've said, giving gratitude and grace for like at least the presence of your friends and your family and whoever else is in your life that you cherish. So the Three of Cups is a celebration. So there is a celebration this week. There is a feeling of celebration. Just make sure that even if they're small successes, if you are somebody who, I just heard the word penmanship. So some of you could be writers, some of you could be into calligraphy or whatever, but Spirit is saying that even if it is something to, like, okay, let's say you haven't touched, for example, if you're a writer and you haven't touched your writing for years, and then all of a sudden you make it to the table, you write a paragraph and you think, oh my gosh, well, a paragraph isn't that much. Even if it's a sentence, you're like, oh, it's not really that much. Or even if you so much as go off and you plan like a thing and you do a rough outline and you're like, meh, like, it doesn't feel like very much, but that's something that Spirit wants you to celebrate, because it's the fact that you put something on paper. It's the fact that you actually took even the smallest step towards your goal. That's the most important part. That's the most important thing, is that you are at least expressing some form of your spark inside, because that's going to help feed it. That's literally fuel to the fire. Like if you want to keep adding wood to your fireplace, that is the wood to your fireplace, is to keep feeding it and to keep that's how you keep the spark alive. Keep going to your space, keep going to your sacred space, and keep feeding the ideas. And that's how Spirit works through us all, is through our creative energy, through our imaginative energy. That's honestly, and I mean, I just heard keep up the good work. So that's honestly how we can improve our clairvoyance, because our spiritual senses are so closely connected to our imagination. And that's like a topic for another video, but Spirit works so actively with our imagination because of our interconnectedness, and because they say that people who are avid dreamers or people who daydream a lot are able to have a sharper clairvoyance sense, which is like a few things of what I read from like various mediumship books. So again, if you are interested in like the spiritual stuff, you don't have to go for mediumship, but that's just an example of a way to explain like that Spirit works through you, that Spirit will always be working through us all. And that's just one of the ways you can also strengthen your connection with Spirit, is to be an active creator in the things that you love. So one more thing for you. I'm going to roll the angel dice before I let you go. Cancer, we have 580. I'm going to pull from Kyle Gray's Angel Numbers book, and it's 580. Know that the small changes you are making in your life are making a big difference to the world. God is grateful for your efforts. And again, translate God to however you see fit. Universe, love, whatever you connect with. One more time, know that the small changes you are making in your life are making a big difference to the world. God is grateful for your efforts. So again, what we said, small changes can keep feeding that fire. Small things can keep building that fire and spreading a wildfire. Ultimately, it does serve the world. You are feeding into the collective vibration and helping our collective vibration raise just by feeding your spark, feeding your inspiration in some way. So thank you, Cancer, for checking in with the Ferret Den. Thank you for allowing me to read your energy. Thank you to my guides, my angel team, and your spiritual entities for allowing me to channel your message. I love you, I love you, I love you. I hope you have the best week, and I'll see you next time.